Right, so on the previous episode from yesterday, we talked about the 5 wildcard games between Saturday and Sunday, and we also previewed the Steelers and the Texans yesterday, and we also talked about the Rockets and Warriors. Both have bad losses against the Kings and the Hawks respectively. And we also talked about college football playoff semifinals recap between Oregon and Indiana. Indiana dominates Oregon, and we talked about the future of discussing Matt LaFleur's future after a wild card blown lead loss to the Chicago Bears. So that's where we at right now. Let's see what's coming up. And we say good morning, happy Tuesday. Today is January 13th, 2026. This is JDB's Morning Cap, and I hope you have a great Monday. Today is Tuesday. I know how excited I am on Tuesday, but the weekend is over. Now this is my week 2 of the talk show, so get used to it about that. So let's start what happened last night on Monday night wildcard football game. The Texans squared off against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. The Texans, all they got to do is win and move on to the divisional round. And they absolutely took care of business in a 30-6 win for the Houston Texans over the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Texans will play the Patriots this Sunday late afternoon. So let me ask this question. Why the Texans are the number 1 defense in the NFL this season? Because they get after a lot. They get after people. They get after the quarterback. The secondary has played very well. They tackled sharply well. And they're the best tackling team on defense in the NFL. That's how they win football games. When you play good defense and offense makes enough plays when it's necessary. If you play one of these one-score games, defense will carry you. But it was close for about 3/4 of this game before Texans scored 23 fourth-quarter points. And Texans record 2 takeaways, including a fumble return for a touchdown by Sheldon Rankins. Will Anderson Jr. got a sack and a forced fumble. He had a great night last night. It's about level, consistency, and put up big defensive numbers. If Texans want, DeMeco Ryans is a hell of a coach. And now he's won 2 more games than he won the 20 total games through the first 2 seasons. He went 10-7 through the first 2 seasons and won division. The Texans won 2 more games despite not winning the AFC South division. because Jacksonville has won one more game than Houston this season. It would have helped. So I'm impressed with the Houston Texans defense, the way they shattered Aaron Rodgers, possibly his final NFL game. We'll talk Aaron Rodgers a little bit later, and Mike Tomlin. No questions asked. The Houston Texans are a very good defensive ball club. That's something you're gonna hang your hat on in last night's football game. But with Houston advancing the divisional round, this doesn't get any spicier. This Texans versus who? Patriots in New England. We have two top 5 defenses in the NFL. We have 3 teams that have top 5 defense: Seahawks, Texans, Broncos, and the Patriots. We have like 4 teams are top 5 or top 10 defense. If it holds true, whoever goes to the Super Bowl, defense will probably win championships. The Houston Texans, they're just one step away from winning a championship. That's what you're asking for it. So you can't ask for a better start than this. All right, so let's switch gears. What happened with the Pittsburgh Steelers last night? It was an awful offensive performance last night. They mustered just 6 points. The Steelers offense mustered just 6 points, both field goals. Despite the fact the Steelers defense recorded 3 takeaways, 2 fumble recoveries on C.J. Stroud, and Echo's interception, the Steelers offense just have not generate any playmakers. DK Metcalf came back. He never found his groove last night. We haven't seen a lot of Pete Fairmouth. We have not seen a lot of Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, we just been talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though they won division, the Steelers just have not quite generated any other explosive plays. They don't have explosive type of mentality. They don't have explosive runs. They don't have explosive catches or explosive throws. The explosive plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers has been inconsistent at best. It's going to hurt Mike Tomlin's situation right now. It's going to hurt Mike Tomlin in his franchise. So what happened in last night's Texans and the Steelers game? This is their first head-to-head postseason meeting, and it didn't get a best taste for Pittsburgh. Oh, by the way, that's the Texans' first road wildcard game in franchise history. Let's take a look at the stats from either of these quarterbacks last night. C.J. Stroud finished 21 for 32, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 3 sacks. But Jacarius Marks was actually effective yesterday. He went 19 carries for 112 yards, which is close to 6 a carry, and a touchdown. Christian Kirk had a hell of a night. 8 receptions for 144 yards and a touchdown. That was impressive. That was really impressive. As for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers finished 17 for 33, 146 yards. He did not throw a touchdown. He threw a pick to Bullock on a pick 6, and he also has been sacked 4 times. Jalen Warren, just 12 carries for 43 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, 6 for 20. yards, 6 carries for 20 yards. No production in the running game. Look at this. Texans have outgained the Steelers as far as total yards, 408 to 175 in favor of the Texans. Passing yards, Texans outthrew the Steelers, 244 to 112. Texans also outrushing the Steelers, 164 to 63. 21 first downs for the Texans, 13 for the Steelers. Texans went 10 for 15 on third downs. Steelers just 2 for 14. Texans did not attempt a fourth down. Steelers did, just 2 for 3. 66 plays for Houston, 56 for Pittsburgh. So Texans have ran 10 more plays than Pittsburgh. Sacks. Texans have 4 quarterback sacks, Steelers with 3. Penalties. 6 penalties cost them for 44 yards for Houston. Pittsburgh with 3 penalties cost them 24 yards. Turnovers, 3 for the Texans, 2 for the Steelers. Time of possession, 32 minutes and 22 seconds for the Texans, 27 minutes and 27 minutes and 38 seconds for the Steelers. Red zone, 2 for 3 for Houston, 0 for 2 for Pittsburgh. So that's the stats from last night. It's 30-6 win for Houston's ledger. So that is the understatement about this. What do you think about performance of C.J. Stroud last night? Technically, C.J. Stroud was up and down yesterday. In the first half, C.J. Stroud actually through the first 3 quarters, they just have not seen any type of connection with a quarterback and center. We had like 3 bad exchange snaps last night. Also, C.J. Stroud has 4 fumbles yesterday. 2 have lost. He lost 2 fumbles. Actually, he had like 4 or 5 fumbles yesterday, and he lost 2 of them. And he also threw an interception. So C.J. Stroud, he has to play better against the Patriots this Sunday in a short week. I mean, there's no getting around it. There's a lot of things he needs to be better. But he actually found his groove in the fourth quarter. They started to get the running game going. The offensive line started to pick things up. Yes, when C.J. Stroud said it last night, he said, "We found a way to win, but we need to clean ourselves up ahead of this Sunday against the Patriots." The Patriots got a very good defense, and they got a very good quarterback, Drake May. So, I mean, this is a big test for C.J. Stroud. Oh, by the way, Texans are 0-6 in divisional round games. Twice against the Patriots, twice against the Chiefs. So, those are the games that you got to circle and you got to watch. This is the 7th divisional game. That's the most without a win in team history or NFL history. When you play the fewest divisional round games without a single divisional round game win, that's gonna be a hard luck for Houston. Can Texans break through? If they do break through against the Patriots this Sunday and end up a W, I'll be happy for Houston. I could be happy for Houston if they pull this off on Sunday. Let's see how that goes out for this one here. All right. So coming up next, we'll still talk about Aaron Rodgers' future and Mike Tomlin's future. Aaron Rodgers might play his last NFL game. He could retire from the NFL. Also coming up, we'll talk some NBA. What happened with Los Angeles Lakers? The Lakers did not show up in Sacramento. We're also going to find out. Also coming up, we'll talk about who is the major concern for the NFC East, Eagles or the Cowboys. It's all coming up in 5 minutes. All right, so welcome back here. It's Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Super Bowl is about 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away. Who will take the Lombardi Trophy? We're down just 8 teams remaining. On the AFC side of 4, we got Patriots, Texans, Bills, Broncos. NFC of 4, 49ers, Seahawks, Bears, Rams. That's this week's divisional round matchups. So, I mean, this is going to be huge. All right, so now let's talk about the Cowboys and the Eagles, how the season went in 2025-26 season. Let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles. They start the season 4-0, but since then, since the 4-0 start, the Eagles won just 7. They went 7-7 since the 4-0 start, including the playoffs. So the Eagles start, like I said, the Eagles started 4-0 to begin the season, end up 7-7 since the 4-0 start, including a heartbreaking wild card 23-19 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Meanwhile, how the Cowboys season was doing, 7-9-1, no playoffs. Of course, the Cowboys, there's going to be a lot of decisions to make ahead of the offseason. So what is next? And I'm going to ask this question. Who should be concerned? Which NFC East team should be concerned the most? The Cowboys or the Eagles? Technically, I gotta say the Philadelphia Eagles for sure. Maybe the Cowboys. Excuse me. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe I should be concerned about the Dallas Cowboys this offseason. If you lose George Pickens, then the explosive plays may be down. I mean, Dak Prescott's number is not going to be really good next year, and all you have is Jake Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb. They just don't have, otherwise they just don't have offensive creativity. It's going to affect their defense for the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys defense, they need to be better. And that's why they're one of the worst defenses in the NFL in total yards allowed, yards per play allowed, all that kind of stuff. But in experiencing about Dak Prescott's numbers, you just don't have your stuff. If you don't have your stuff, you can't win this way. I mean, those are the challenges that you have to make. I mean, you can make your presence felt. You can clearly make your presence felt about the Dallas Cowboys. There's nothing to specialize as what transpires. The Dallas Cowboys they need better players. Cowboys just need better players, better signings, and better acquisition, especially on defense. The Cowboys have made the fewest acquisitions in the offseason in the NFL over the last 2 years. They only acquire up to 3 to 4 players in this past 2 off seasons. There's no big names either on offense or defense. So if George Pickens doesn't return to Dallas, will Convante Turpin step into the wide receiver role, even though he's a returner, even though he's on special teams? But the Dallas Cowboys just need some production from the number 2 wide receiver position. They need everything to go confidently. You just lost Michael Parsons last offseason. You don't know about this. You just lost you already lost Michael Parsons for some typical reason. You don't have. That's why their defense has been ineffective. Because Cowboys have so many injuries and all that kind of stuff. That's what this offseason is all about. And then for the Eagles, what is next for the Philadelphia Eagles? That's a good question right now. The Eagles are just waiting the Eagles are waiting and searching for answers, especially the wide receiver, A.J. Brown. Where, when, and how and why. What and what? What is the future of A.J. Brown? I'm concerned about the Eagles this offseason, technically. I'm concerned about the Eagles, and I'm concerned about A.J. Brown for some reason. And what's the future of A.J. Brown? As far as I'm concerned, he could leave Philadelphia on a higher ground, on a lower ground. He wants to play elsewhere. He wants to play either Kansas City, Baltimore, if Lamar Jackson stays here. A.J. Brown can play Atlanta. He can play the Green Bay Packers. They can need a wide receiver. Pittsburgh Steelers. There's some teams who can play with. Maybe the Chargers. I mean, there's a lot of, and maybe the Buffalo Bills. The door is absolutely wide open. If A.J. Brown goes to the Buffalo Bills, that could make the most sense. Because Bills need a wide receiver production ahead of the offseason if the Bills suffer their second round exit. If that's the case. The Eagles, it's going to be a long off season for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. And the addition-wise is not going to be easy for both of these teams. Which team will make better acquisitions? Well, even the Eagles have made more acquisitions than the Cowboys over the last couple of years, including Saquon Barkley. And I tell you what, the Philadelphia Eagles just don't see any of these type of connections. Do you think the Eagles will attend the Mr. Playoffs in 2026? I believe so. And they deserve to miss the playoffs. We'll see how this plays out for that one. All right, so if that's the case, you would have done every single time. There we go. So then that one in. So when we come back on this JDB's morning cap, we're gonna talk the NBA. Luka Doncic with a solid performance. But is it enough for the Lakers? Also coming up, we'll talk some more NBA as well. Which team will likely come out of the West and East respectively? They're still searching. Both conferences searching for answers. Also coming up, we'll still talk about Matt LaFleur's future, Aaron Rodgers' future, and Mike Tomlin's future. We'll update all of this right after this. I'm going to be right back, right? Let's do that. The only quarterback has won a Super Bowl or made a Super Bowl? Who's the only one? Matthew Stafford. There you go. What's going next? Luka Doncic. Still, Luka Doncic, masterful performance offensively. The question is, was it enough to get a W in Sacramento? And we'll talk about who's going to come out in the respective NBA conferences for the conference finals in 2026, as NBA playoffs is about 3 months away, 4 months away, less than 4 months away. Take a shower a little bit later. That's cool. To understand. Improvement. All right, so we're on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. All right, so what happened last night's game between the Kings and the Lakers in Sacramento? So Luka Doncic with an outstanding performance, 42 points, 7 rebounds. I believe 7 rebounds or 7 assists, I don't know. So Luka Doncic last night a masterful performance. So he finished 42 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. But the biggest problem right now, Russell Westbrook, former Laker, went 22 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Zach LaVine had 19 points. Malik Monk had 26 off the bench. And DeMar DeRozan, with an outstanding performance, he had 32 points as the Lakers lose that one, 124-112 to the Sacramento Kings. The Kings coming in, they were last in Western Conference, and now the Kings have won. The Kings were last in the West in wins coming into the game, and now they have won 2 straight. They beat the Rockets on Sunday night, and then beat the Lakers last night. All right, and Kings shot 59% from the field, 65 from downtown for Sacramento. And the Lakers, by the way, the defense did not show up. The Lakers did finish 22% from long distance, and that's how the Lakers lost to the Sacramento Kings. So I'm going to ask the question: Is this a bad loss for the Los Angeles Lakers? If so, how concerned are the Lakers after a 12-point loss last night? Well, if I answer this question, they should be concerned. Even though you got LeBron James, you got Luka Doncic, you still don't have Austin Reeves because he's still hurt. They're still waiting. They're still searching the right answers. But it has proven really bad for the Los Angeles Lakers. And JJ Redick, be my second guess. What LeBron James said on this in last night's loss.
Is there any commentary with this game and the other losses you guys had recently, or is it this one you just put it on, 17 threes for them and 8 for you guys?
No, I'll just put it strictly on that, but you gotta make shots. And we didn't make shots. We got some very, very good looks. I got some great looks, that you just gotta knock down. And, we didn't.
Well, you guys got within 7 in the fourth, then kicked them 8, and they had to hit those threes. How much does that just tax on defense, trying to stop, plug here, plug there?
We was fighting uphill, obviously, except from the first 8 minutes of the game, we was fighting uphill. Any shot that they make, especially from 3, is always feel like a backbreaker, especially in a late game like that.
Okay, wait a second. So you would have think about the Lakers. LeBron said we have to make shots. We got to make 3-point shots. He said we have good looks. I have good looks. We just did not make all of our shots. What the hell is wrong with y'all? The Lakers are one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. They're not a great 3-point shooting team. They only shot roughly 32% from downtown, which is bottom 5 in the NBA. So you cannot, I understand if you want to abandon three-point shooting. Austin Reeves is the best three-point shooter on this team. And he's still out with an injury. Luka, he may not shoot a great three-point percentage, but he can facilitate night in and night out. But Luka is the leader for this team all season long, not LeBron. LeBron is not going to be a leading scorer every single basketball game. Luka, some of these games, LeBron James will lead the team in points in certain games. And every time when LeBron plays without any of these stars, he leads the way. He leads the way every single game. Even he's with Cleveland, Cavaliers, Miami Heat, Cavs again, and this time Lakers. He had teammates with Anthony Davis, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kyrie Irving. Those are the players that you're going to ask for it. There's not a lot of guys who can really step it up. I have to assure you that the Lakers aren't aren't good enough to shoot the three. Even they do make the playoffs. Are they going to have a tough time to make shots? Are they going to have a tough time to make shots in the postseason? Hell yeah, they're going to have a tough time. Remember last year in the playoffs? They have a tough time knocking down threes in the first round playoffs. That's why they lost to the Timberwolves in 5 games. They cannot make shots, especially in a close game. Game 4 looked like it seemed working in the first half, and then they just blew themselves away. That's not a good look. That is not a good look for the Los Angeles Lakers. They just don't have it right now. They just don't have it. So now it's time to move the hell on. You know what Lakers, what will Lakers have to do? What will happen? What if LeBron retires after this season? What if LeBron retires? Clearly you're asking who the hell they were. And this is what happened.
No, it's literally we can't make a shot. You look at it. First of all, they're right there with us as being one of the worst shooting teams in the league.
Wait. What JJ Redick said? Go back. What JJ Redick said? Let's replay this thing again.
Okay. So what is it? A snowball effect? Is it momentum?
No, it's literally we can't make a shot. You look at it. First of all, they're right there with us as being one of the worst shooting teams in the league. That's the highest. They're tied for the highest with Houston for the highest anybody shot all season. So that's typical. We're 28 before tonight in opponent 3-point percentage. We'll be 29th or 30th after tonight. Had 50 potential assists tonight. We converted on 21 of those. Expected score, we won by 24. This has been the theme. It has been the theme. So just gotta keep shooting, I guess.
Okay, stop. JJ, I understand your stats. I understand our team's stats. Did you say we're going to be 29th or 30th in three-point shooting defense after tonight? Hell, I agree with you, JJ. This defense is clearly problematic. Their defense is bad, especially defending the three-point shooting. The Lakers are not that damn good defensively. What the hell is your problem? What is your damn problem? JJ saying, Our problem is we can't defend, we can't shoot, we can't get back in transition. We have wide open shots, we couldn't make it. And then Kings made wide open shots on the other end. That's an issue. That is an issue, my man. That is an issue. The Lakers need help at the deadline because deadline is close to less than a month away. What's wrong with y'all? JJ said, I'm sick and tired. We've been playing ourselves today. And oh, by the way, like JJ said, he said we had 50 possible assists last night. And we only convert 21 out of those 50 potential assists. So the points off an assist percentage, so you only convert 21 assists, potential assists possibly going to make is 50. You only convert 42% of your assists last night. That's terrible. That is 100% terrible. That just cannot happen. You had 21 assists out of the 50 possible assists. That's 42%. That's not good. That's not good. I know they can do better than that. It's really not necessary. JJ Redick clearly understands about what just happened. Like I said, this Lakers team has showing no collectiveness offensively as far as knocking down threes. The Lakers only won just 7 of their last 14 games. The recent loss was against Sacramento. Right now, the Lakers, where are the Lakers at right now as far as they're standing number 5 seed. In fact, look at this. I believe Suns are around close to a game back from the number 5 seed in the West. Suns can jump ahead of the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers could be the number 6 seed by the end of the regular season. Even worse, they could be in a play-in tournament, a play-in spot, if the Lakers don't keep this up. If Lakers don't make shots, they can fall their asses to the play-in picture by the end of the regular season. That is not who they're going to be. That is not where they're going to be by the end of the year. That is not where they're going to want to be for the Los Angeles Lakers. They don't want to be in this position. Can the Lakers figure things out by the deadline? We'll see how it goes for the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, so what's coming up next on JDB's Morning Cap? We'll talk about a future between Matt LaFleur, Mike Tomlin, and Aaron Rodgers. We're also going to preview this week's divisional round. Do you trust the Broncos? It's coming up in about 5 minutes. All right, so welcome back here. Let's take a look how the Packers went in 2025-26 season. They start the season 9-3-1. They end the season and postseason on a 5-game losing streak, including blowing a 21-3 lead. End up losing to the Bears 31-27, thanks to a game-winning touchdown pass from Caleb Williams to DJ Moore. And also McManus missed 3 total kicks. He missed a long field goal, missed the extra point, also missed a 44-yard field goal. As Matt LaFleur's future is still uncertain, so I'm going to ask this question. Scale 1 to 10 about the possible expected to return of Matt LaFleur. If I could scale it, I'm going to go with 5. I'm going to go to scale number 5 on Matt LaFleur's return. But because either he stays next season or he goes. But it looks like the Packers, the sources said, the Packers are expected to work on the deal to retain Matt LaFleur as head coach. So I got to ask this question. Is this a surprising move if Matt LaFleur will be back next year despite the collapse in 2025-26 season? Well, maybe the Packers organization is confident we're going to keep Matt LaFleur until his time is up. So I believe if I was saying you're running out of time, Matt LaFleur, it's time to move on. You would have paid few extra money about your you don't give a damn, and instead you don't give a damn about your contracts. But it feels like your contract is just not been prolified. It's tough. You talk about Jordan Love, you talk about Michael Parsons, you talk about Romeo Doubs, you talk about Josh Jacobs, Jalen Reed, Christian Watson, Xavier McKinney. But the biggest issue for the Packers this season is the level of consistency, mostly on special teams. Special teams has been inconsistent. The kicking game's been inconsistent. I mean, they got to address their kicker. They got to address their kicker situation. Otherwise, things will not get any better in 2026-27 season. I'm 50% confident that Matt LaFleur will remain as Packers head coach. I'm not sure he's going to be a Packer head coach next season. If he's not, then there's going to be a new sheriff in town in Green Bay if Matt LaFleur steps down. So I'll be surprised if Matt LaFleur remained as Packers head coach despite the late season collapse in 2025-26 season. We'll see how it plays out. The only thing about Matt LaFleur, who do you think who has a better relationship, LaFleur and Rodgers or LaFleur and Love? Technically, I like LaFleur and Love relationship. Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love's relationship. I think it makes a path a whole lot easier. We said we're still gonna figure things out. If we're gonna be a Super Bowl juggernaut team, we got to play like champions. And early on, we looked like we're playing like champions. We were 9-3-1, and since that time, they lost 5 consecutive games, including in the playoffs. Jordan Love got hurt. Michael Parsons got hurt. Since then, this team just never been the same. And Who could put this on? Most likely Matt LaFleur. We're going to put this on Matt LaFleur because the play calling just seemed to be inconsistent. When you play well in the first half, your play calling has gone well. In the second half, your play calling has changed. The play call just has changed. Because of that, you feel like the Packers team are just not necessarily in a good spot. They could have missed the playoffs if the Lions didn't lose any of these games. Lions would have been in if they would have been 10-7 if they didn't lose to the Steelers, if they didn't lose to the Vikings, if they didn't lose to the Rams. They could have won those games. If they would beat Minnesota and Chicago, they would have been 10-7, and Packers would be 9-7-1, and they would be the first team out of the play. They would have been the first team out of the playoffs. Packers could have missed the playoffs. But luckily they got in. But I think Packers will miss the playoffs next year. If Micah Parsons doesn't play next season, if Jordan Love struggles, if the Packers defense falls apart, Packers could end up a 7-win team, and Matt LaFleur could be fired during the 2026-27 regular season. I see this happen. Because you knew the Packers are going to go downhill next season. The team who made the playoffs this year likely missed the playoffs is the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers will miss the playoffs in 2026-27 season because Jordan Love's numbers may be down, defense may be inconsistent. If they don't have Michael Parsons to start the next season, then the Packers can't make the playoffs. They cannot make the playoffs. They just can't. They just can't make the playoffs right now. That's not who they were. Who they supposed to be. All right, let's move on to that. Let's start with the NFL divisional round this week. AFC has Broncos and Bills, Texans, Patriots. NFC divisional round has Niners and Seahawks and Rams, Bears. So Saturday, Bills at the Broncos at 4:30 Eastern on CBS. And then that's 6 versus 1 matchup on the AFC divisional round. The NFC divisional round has 6 versus 1 as well. 6th-seeded San Francisco 49ers will battle the best team in the NFC, the 1st-seeded Seattle Seahawks at 8 Eastern on Fox. On Sunday, it'll be a 5-seeded Houston Texans will travel to face a 2-seeded New England Patriots. Kickoff begins at 3 Eastern on ESPN and ABC. And then finally, the NFC divisional round, it'll be the 5-seeded Los Angeles Rams take on the 2-seeded Chicago Bears at 6:30 Eastern on NBC. So which one of the 4 best games I want to watch this weekend? I like the Bills and the Broncos. Josh Allen versus the Broncos defense. I mean, this is going to be one of the most intriguing games of the week. It's not about Patrick. It's not a Patrick Mahomes type matchup. It's going to be a good matchup nonetheless. But I can guarantee that Bo Nix versus Josh Allen, second head-to-head in the playoffs without a regular season game. These two will be squaring off in the regular season for the first time next year. Josh Allen beat Bo Nix in their first matchup in the playoffs back in 2025 in Buffalo. Let's see what's in store in 4 days. So that would be the best case scenario. The other games I would like to see, 49ers and Seahawks. I mean, this game is going to be interesting. The Seahawks defense versus the top Niners offense. So it's gonna be more exciting about this in that one there. And then we got Texans, Patriots, both top 5 defenses in the NFL. The Patriots, they're good against the pass. Texans, they're also good against the pass. We talk about which defense will stop in the red zone. Texans are pretty good defending the red zone. The Patriots are not. They actually play well defending the red zone. They held the Chargers 0-for-2 in the red zone this past Sunday. So I'm impressed with the Patriots defense. So let's see how it transpires in the division round this Sunday. So with them. And then you got the Rams and the Bears. You got the Rams offense is good. The Bears offense is good. Both defense has been up and down. Bears are number 1 in takeaways in the NFL this season. So this is what's gonna happen. Those teams would help. Those games you want to circle out this week. I would talk about more about those games in the near future. So it would not be these games will not be denied. Like I said, 4 of the first 6 games in the wild card have gone down to the wire. So that's a great sign in the NFL. They want to play competitive football games. They want to continue to play competitive football games. That's what you wanted to see. We'll see how it pans out here. What's coming up next? We're still going to talk about Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers' future. It looks like Aaron Rodgers' career is over. Mike Tomlin, is this the end of the era of Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Also, we're going to talk about, still coming up, we're going to talk about the teams who will come out of respective conferences in the NBA. And MVP conversations in the NBA, we'll update on that as well. And NBA All-Star selection is next Monday, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed. It's all coming up next. All right, welcome back, y'all. We do have breaking news. Let's start with Major League Baseball. First one, Nolan Arenado is heading to Arizona. Exchange for a young pitcher. The young pitcher heads to St. Louis. Arenado heads to Arizona. He's going to work with Corbin Carroll in 2026. So Nolan Arenado expects to break out in 2026 after he had some significant drawbacks in his offense over the last few years. His defense continues to excel despite the offensive drawbacks over the last few years. So let's see if the D-backs could make production out of Nolan Arenado. So, yeah. And one more breaking news. It's the NBA. The Mavericks center star, Anthony Davis, is likely expected to undergo surgery to repair his ligament damage in his left hand. He expects to miss several months. Which means Anthony Davis is clearly out indefinitely. So, if the Mavericks do make the postseason, there's a chance that Anthony Davis will return later on in the season. So, he could be out at least for the regular season and play in. If they do make the play-in tournament, then they're going to keep Anthony Davis out until if the Mavericks make their playoff push. The Mavericks right now, the record so far as of January 13th, 2026, the Mavericks are sitting number 12. So outside of the play-in spot with a 15-25 record. So they played 40 games. The Mavericks end up winning yesterday over the Nets, 113-105. to pick up their 15th win of the season out of the 40-team games. So I'm going to ask the question about the Dallas Mavericks. Should they shut Anthony Davis out? Should they shut Anthony Davis down for the rest of the regular season and postseason if they make it? The answer is yes. I think they should shut Anthony Davis down, period. I'm going to ask the other question. Should Anthony Davis retire because of his health? Well, we'll get to the answer in just a minute. Well, the reason why he needs to shut down the rest of the season, he needs to focus on his surgery. And he needs to work out a little bit more to make sure to get fresh and ready to go. And that's what Anthony Davis needs to do. They need Anthony Davis to get healthy. Anthony Davis is 32 years old. He'll be 33 in less than 2 months. He'll be 33 in less than 2 months. You can't expect to retire. Anthony Davis will not be retired. He still wants to play basketball. But I love you, Anthony, but you need to stay healthy, my man. You need to stay healthy. That's the key if you want to keep your career hopes alive. The good news is you did win a championship with the Lakers back in 2019-20 season with LeBron James. I mean, there's no questions asked. Who do you think? Who do you think Anthony Davis? Who do you think who Anthony Davis is? You think Anthony Davis expects to be back next season if they don't make the play-in or playoffs? The Mavericks are not going to make the top 6. Cooper Flag is a really good. He's the bright spot for this man, for this team. He's got a chance to win the NBA Rookie of the Year. Cooper Flag. I'm impressed with Cooper Flag. But Anthony Davis's health, as far as Anthony Davis's health is concerned, maybe the Mavericks don't have enough firepower. Jason Kidd knows that if they want to keep Anthony Davis healthy, you still don't have Kyrie Irving. The Mavericks are probably going to go downhill. They're clearly going to go downhill. I mean, that is not, they want it. That's not what they're going to want. You can't make your own differences in its own time. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on this. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was competitive through 3 quarters until the Steelers surrendered 23 fourth-quarter points, end up a 30-6 defeat to the Houston Texans. The Steelers getting defeated by the Texans by 23 points. I believe 23 points. Actually, 24 points. My bad. They lost by 24 points, 30-6, in favor of the Texans. So Mike Tomlin's future is what?
After another disappointing one.
Again, when you don't get it done, words are cheap. It's about what you do or you don't do. And so I appreciate the question, but people talk too much in our business. You either do or you don't.
Well, you talk about Mike Tomlin's future is clearly uncertain. It's since the end of the era of Mike Tomlin. If I answer all these questions about the end of the era of Mike Tomlin, before I answer this question, the Steelers only had 3 coaching changes in franchise history. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and now most recent, Mike Tomlin. If this is their fourth, if we have other longer tenures, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Hall of Famer, Mike Tomlin, future Hall of Famer. He's won a Super Bowl before, back in 2008, 2009 season. He's been to the Super Bowl twice. That's a good thing. He's been to the Super Bowl twice. He's won one Super Bowl in 2 Super Bowl appearances. He beat the Cardinals in, I believe, Super Bowl 45. Yeah, it was Super Bowl 45, right? No, I'm wrong. Super Bowl 43. It was Super Bowl 43. Steelers beat the Cardinals in Super Bowl 43, but they lost to the Packers on Super Bowl 45 to Aaron Rodgers before they become a quarterback and head coach. So that's like a 20-year later stuff. I mean, that's a 10-year later stuff between Tomlin and Rodgers. I mean, we talk about Mike Tomlin. Who gets touched up about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Mike Tomlin is one of the greatest coaches in the NFL over the last 15 years in the NFL. In years past, we talk about winning season 500 or winning records. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record as a Steelers head coach. That's impressive. He made 2 Super Bowls. He won 1 title. He been to AFC Championship games. And now you're sitting on a 7-game postseason losing streak. That's the longest by any coach in NFL history. One of the longest losing streaks, if not one of the longest playoff losing streaks by any head coach in NFL history. He knows better than that. He really knows better than this. And let's talk about Aaron Rodgers' future as well. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, along with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Steve Young. There's so many iconic quarterbacks over the years. Drew Brees as well. I mean, there's a lot of good Phillip Rivers. There's a lot of great iconic quarterbacks over the years. There's Aaron Rodgers, the greatest quarterback in a generation. The greatest quarterback in a generation. Sorry, I cut the mic just short. It was a little bit off balance. But Aaron Rodgers is the future Hall of Famer. And there's no getting around it. He is the future Hall of Famer in 5 years from now. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's already been a Hall of Fame. Phillip Rivers is this close to be a Hall of Fame. Maybe not next year, maybe 5 more years. So Aaron Rodgers will be most likely retiring this offseason. And you talk about Aaron Rodgers to be the best quarterback in the game. He is a 4-time MVP. He is a 1-time Super Bowl MVP. He's won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. He is the winningest quarterback in Packers history as a quarterback, along with Bart Starr, Brett Favre, the 3 winningest quarterbacks in Packers franchise history. Most passing touchdowns, one of the most passing touchdowns in Packers history is Aaron Rodgers. Most passing yards in Packers history, Aaron Rodgers. And that's what Aaron Rodgers does best. He wins games with Green Bay. And in fact, he has 4 Hail Mary touchdowns in his entire career. That is the most by any other quarterback in NFL history. He has 4 buzzer beater Hail Mary touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers became the first quarterback in NFL history with 4 buzzer beater touchdowns on a Hail Mary play, on the final play, either the first half or the regulation. That's incredible. Aaron Rodgers having an incredible career. It's something you really want to watch. Like what? Do you think the game hasn't slowed down for you? Do you think the game never gets old? You think about Aaron Rodgers. He has so many impactful memories with the Packers, Jets, Steelers. He played 3 different teams in the NFL. He will be retired as a Packer for sure. He'll sign a 1-day contract and retired as a Packer. That's the first thing. Sign a 1-day contract to be retired where you uniformed at. You could be retired as a Green Bay Packer and you raise the number 12 banner. That's incredible. Oh, we talk about Aaron Rodgers. He is definitely a future Hall of Famer. Forget about last night's game, but what a career for Aaron Rodgers if he decides to retire. He wants to play one more year if he wants, so he has not ruled announced retirement yet. We'll find out either next week or the next few months. We'll see how they can do it here. All right, what's coming up? Are you trusting the Broncos to go to the Super Bowl? We'll have to find out coming up. Still coming up next, the favorites to come out of the respective NBA conferences. Who do you think goes to the NBA Finals? And then MVP conversations of the NBA. Who do you think takes the MVP nod? And then, in our last one, we're going to talk about what's coming up next for tomorrow's talk show. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right, welcome back here. Let's talk about the Denver Broncos. The Broncos finishing the season 14-3. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC. The Broncos. Look at those 1-score wins. They had so many 1-score affairs. So let's count the number 1-score wins, 1-score games out loud. They beat Tennessee in a 1-score game. They lost to Indianapolis and the Chargers on the road in 1-score game, 1-2. They beat Philadelphia in 1-score games, 2-2. And then they beat the Jets in 1-score game, 3-2. And in week 7, they beat the Giants. They came back 4-2 in 1-score games. And then week 8, nothing in week 8. So they're 4-2 1-score games after 8 weeks of the season. And then week 9, They beat Houston in a one-score game, 5-2. Week 10, they beat the Raiders in one-score game, 6-2. Week 11, beat the Chiefs in one-score game, 7-2. Week 13, they beat the Commanders in one-score game, 8-2. They beat the Raiders in one-score game, 9-2. They beat the Packers in one-score game, 10-2. They beat the Chiefs in one-score game, 12-2. The Broncos are 12-2 in one-score games this year. That's the best in the NFL. So their defense is one of the best in the NFL. Their defense is great. I like the Broncos' defense, but in the regular season, when you win 12 out of your 14 games in one-score games, in most of the league, you're going to be trailing. You have been trailing most of your games, and you came back and won it in all of your games. When every time they trailed, they came back and beat them. Broncos are clearly not a perfect football team. Broncos are clearly not a perfect football team. So I'm going to ask the question, should I trust the Broncos to get to the Super Bowl? No. No way. Broncos are not going to the Super Bowl, and here's why. If Bo Nix doesn't play well offensively, if they get behind early, even though they can try to come back, and then you're just one play away from moving on to the AFC Championship game, and you end up losing by 7 points or less, you can easily lose by 3 points to Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. Both Buffalo and Denver have played more one-score games. And Houston too. Houston, Buffalo, and Denver has played a bunch of one-score affairs this season. Mainly Denver has played a lot of one-score games. I mean, that puts it a high leverage situations in the fourth quarter when you put yourself in a really good position to win, even though you're trailing. So technically, I don't trust the Broncos to get to the Super Bowl. I like the defense, but I don't trust the Broncos offense to get to the Super Bowl. I think Buffalo Bills will beat the Broncos in the AFC divisional round because Josh Allen has clearly had blueprint of success. They need James Cook to get going offensively in a running game if they can make it happen. The Broncos defense has been great all season long. Why trust the Broncos now? I trust the Seahawks. I trust more to the Seahawks than the Broncos. The Seahawks got championship aspirations, despite the fact Sam Darnold is the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. We know who can be better, Darnold or Nix. Bo Nix. Okay, so that's how you move on from this season. That's what the difference is all about. You don't want everybody to step the things up. All right. So let's make a move. Let's make a huge move. All right. So let's take the NBA conference standings as of right now. Today is January 13th, 2026. Pistons, number 1 seed with a 28-10 record. Number 2 is the Knicks, 25-14. Celtics, number 3, 24-15. Raptors, 24-17, which is the 4th seed. Sixers, 22-16, number 5. Number 6 is the Magic, 22-18. Number 7 is the Cavaliers, 22-19. Number 8 is the Heat, 20-19. Number 9 is the Hawks, 20-21. Number 10 is the Bulls, 18-20. So have the season ended today for the Eastern Conference. Here's the matchups. It'll be 6-seeded Magic takes on the 3-seeded Celtics. That was also last year's first round matchup, 7 versus 2. And then Sixers will see the Raptors 5 versus 4 matchup. Knicks and Pistons will have their byes. Heat and Cavs will square off for the battle for the 7th seed. Hawks and Bulls will square off for the racing the number 8 seed. So if Cavs win, they take the 7th seed. If Hawks win, if the Heat lose, then they'll have to face each other for the 8th seed. If Heat wins, then it will be Heat Pistons for the 8 versus 1 matchup. Cavs and Knicks 7 versus 2 matchup in the first round. So I'm going to take one step at a time. So my first round matchups, Heat Pistons, 8 versus 1. Pistons win in 4 games. Cavaliers and the Knicks. Knicks are 2-0 against the Cavs. 7 versus 2 matchup. I say Knicks beat the Cavs in 6 games. Magic and Celtics. I say Celtics win in 7 games. Each team will win a road game in this series. Each team will win most home games in this series. Sixers and Raptors. I say Sixers in 7. Sixers win in 7 games. So, expect to be competitive series. So the semifinals matchup, it'll be Sixers and the Pistons, Celtics, Knicks. So if I would get the pick, Celtics in 6 games against the Knicks. I pick Pistons in 7 against the 76ers. In my conference finals matchup, Celtics and the Pistons. If I would get the pick, if Tatum does not return, I pick Pistons in 6 games. If Tatum does return, I pick Celtics in 7. So most likely, I'm going to pick the Pistons in 6 to come out of the East. As for the Western Conference, number 1 is the Oklahoma City Thunder, 33-7. Number 2 is the San Antonio Spurs, 27-12. Number 3 is the Nuggets, 26-13. Number 4 is the Minnesota Timberwolves, 26-14. Number 5 is the Los Angeles Lakers, 23-14. Number 6 is the Phoenix Suns, 24-15. Number 7 is the Rockets, 22-14. Number 8 is the Golden State Warriors, 21-19. Number 9 is the Portland Trailblazers, 19-21. And finally, number 10 is the Memphis Grizzlies, 17-22. Half season ended today for the West. Here are the play-in matchups. It'll be the Warriors versus the Rockets, battle for the 7th seed. The Grizzlies versus the Blazers, racing for the number 8 seed. Spurs and Thunder will have their byes. First round matchup, it'll be the Suns taking on the Nuggets for the 6 versus 3 matchup. And then Lakers versus the Timberwolves for the 2nd consecutive year in the first round, 5 versus 4 this time. So, here are my play-in matchups. Warriors and Rockets. So if I pick the Rockets will face the Spurs. And then Grizzlies and Blazers. If I pick the Blazers, so Blazers and Warriors. If I pick the Blazers over the Warriors, so I'll pick Blazers and Thunder and Rockets Spurs. So how's this gonna go? Start off with Trailblazers and the Thunder. Thunder wins in 5 games. Second one, Rockets versus Spurs. Spurs wins in 7 games. Each team wins a road game in this series. Suns and Nuggets. Nuggets win in 7 games. Lakers and Timberwolves. Wolves win in 7 games. Those are my first round matchups. So, my second round matchups, Timberwolves will play the Thunder. Nuggets will play the Spurs. So, I say Thunder wins in 7 games against the Timberwolves. Nuggets and Spurs, honestly, I'm going to pick the Spurs win in 7 games as well. So it'll be Spurs Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. If I would get the pick, I'm going to pick the San Antonio Spurs in 6. 4 games to 2. And then it'll be Pistons Spurs in the NBA Finals. If I would get the pick, this is a close call. I'm gonna pick the Pistons in 7 games. And the home court advantage will go to the Detroit Pistons for the NBA Finals. So the reason why I'd like to see the Spurs and Pistons in the NBA Finals matchup, I think this game is going to be excitement. We got Victor Wembanyama versus Cade Cunningham. It's going to be an exciting matchup you wanted to see. I picked the Pistons in 7 games because I think they got a few more experienced players. But De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama are expected to be dangerous in the playoffs. They expect to be top 6 remain top 6 in the Western Conference playoff picture by the end of the year. There could be no collapse in this world. All right, so it's coming up. We're going to talk about MVP candidates in the NBA, and then what's coming up next. Tomorrow, we're going to wrap this up right after this. All right, welcome back here. We got breaking news in the NFL. According to Ian Rappaport, NFL Network's insider, the Chargers have let go Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator, and the Chargers are also fired the offensive line coach Mike Devlin. So after a horrific offensive line performance this season, and also on Sunday night against the New England Patriots, the 16-3 loss to New England. So Chargers finished 11-6 for the second consecutive year under Jim Harbaugh's head coach. So I'm going to ask this question. Is this the right move of firing both Greg Roman and Mike Devlin as an offensive coordinator and offensive line coach respectively? Is this the right move? Technically, it is the right move. I mean, they need a better offensive line coach. They need a better offensive coordinator. Unfortunately, things just has not been in sync. So we talk about Justin Herbert. Who's more blamed the most, Roman or Devlin? I had to blame the offensive line coach, Mike Devlin. I mean, he's just not the right guy. The offensive line in 2024 was pretty good, but last year, just not as great as it was. Yes, forget about that because the injuries have been loom large. They're dealing so many injuries. The Chargers offensive line is dealing so many injuries. One of the best offensive linemen on this team, was hurt. I mean, it's really tough to see. There's so many inconsistencies. The pass protection has been inconsistent. Pass block win rate this season is the worst in the NFL, next to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have the second lowest pass block win rate in the NFL. The Chargers have the lowest pass block win rate in the league. It's been a problem for the Chargers all season long. Not protecting Justin Herbert has been an issue. It's got to change. Let's move on. Our final topic of this talk show, NBA MVP conversation. So let's take a closer look. We could have Luka Doncic, SGA, Jaylen Brown, and Nikola Jokic. We could put Maxey in the mix too if they choose this way. So right now the MVP votes are still in question. Right now, who do you think who's the best top 3 candidate to be nominated most valuable player? So my top 3 is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, number 3. Number 2 is Nikola Jokic. Number 1, Luka Doncic. I'm not picking the winner just yet. I'm not picking the winner. My 3 is SGA, Jokic, and Doncic. That's my 3. I like Brown in a conversation. He's outside top 3. So I love Jaylen Brown to the death. But my 3 right now, I'm going to stick with SGA, Nikola Jokic, and Luka Doncic. That's my top 3 nominations of MVP conversations. So I'm not choosing a winner just yet. Like I said, I was just going to wait till the mid-season. I'll talk about that tomorrow because a handful of teams are going to play up to 41 games halfway through the season. You got your mid-season surprises and your mid-season disappointments, but the MVP is going to be a huge one. So that's what it looks like here. All right, so we're about to, all right, what's coming up? What's coming up next for tomorrow? We'll talk mid-season NBA awards. We'll talk more NFL. But let's talk about the Eagles and the Cowboys real quick. The Eagles right now, I'm concerned about AJ Brown's future. As for the Cowboys, I'm concerned about the Cowboys as well. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. I was going to talk about Heffley today. We'll talk about Heffley this week. But that explains a lot. It's going to be really, really, really different. Because of that, that's fair. Also, we'll talk college football playoff national championship game preview between Miami Hurricanes and Indiana Hoosiers. I don't know how excited I am of that matchup. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Also coming up tomorrow, I'll preview half of the matchups. I'll preview the Saturday's game first, and then I'll preview the Sunday's, one of the next days. So it should be more excited about that. The list goes on and on. Best game of the night is Spurs Thunder. We'll talk Spurs Thunder tomorrow. I'd love to talk Spurs Thunder tomorrow. That's going to be an exciting basketball game. So we should be good in this one. All right, that's going to do it. This is JDB's Morning Cap. We'll see you tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your day.